So then with the prepaid, right, this is for the whole year. We are closing on September 3rd, 2022, and the seller has paid for the whole year. And they paid the HOA dues for $960. So now what is the buyer responsible for, and how would it appear on the closing statement? For the other math problem that we did, were you able to solve it? Or should I go back to it? Jania asking. Let me know if I need to go back to it, because I know
you go over it one more time, please.
Okay. All right, so this was the previous one that we did. So you're closing on April 18th. Remembering that we need how many months are complete. So January, February, March, and then 18 days in April. So then we have our annual taxes of $5,600 divided by 12, and that gives us our monthly taxes. And then we divide the monthly taxes by 30, and that gives us the daily taxes of $15.56. So what we would then do is multiply the 3 months by 466.67, and we get 1,400. And then 18 days, multiply that by 15.56 per day, and that gives us 280. And so we add both, and that gives us $1,680 debit to the seller and credit to the buyer. All right. So this would be for, if we're closing April 18th, this is how much the seller would be responsible for from January 1st to April 18th. And then the remainder would be what the buyer is responsible for. So if for any reason they even give you a question whereby it's taxes, because this national and state, so in some places they pay their taxes in advance anyway. So in that case, it would be the opposite. The buyer would have to be giving the refund to the seller for the remainder of the year, as opposed to the seller giving them money to pay the tax bill, right? So even if you did it this way, to find out what the buyer is responsible for, you would just do 5,600 minus 1,680, and that's how much the buyer is responsible for. So if we go on to the next slide, we talk about prepaid items, right? The ones that the seller has already paid for and they need a refund for. In this situation, we're closing September 3rd. The seller already paid $960 for the whole year. So we need to give them a refund for September 4th till December 31st, the period when the buyer would own that property. Okay. So you could do this one of two ways. You could find out how much the seller is responsible for from January 1st to September 3rd, and then subtract that number from the whole thing to give us what the buyer is responsible for. Or you can figure out the months and the days the buyer is responsible for and just solve it that way.
Would it be easiest to solve it just by figuring out how much it is per day?
Yes, I've also seen people do it that way too. And for them, it made sense. And so I'm glad you brought that up, because for some people that's easier. For me, I don't know why, but 3 months and days is easier for me. But to your point, if your brain works that way, that's totally, totally fine. But actually, let's do it that way for this one. So 3 months and then 27 days. All right, so I'm doing this on the fly.
Okay, so I don't count January.
No, okay, yeah, good question. All right, so here's the thing. It's prepaid, right? So the seller has paid from January to December, but they're responsible for January to September 3rd, right? What we're trying to figure out now is the remainder of the year. So September 3rd, so we're going from September 4th till the end of September, and then October, November, December. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. So And we can do it the way you're thinking as well too. And if that makes sense for you, then you can solve it that way too. I don't care how you solve it as long as you get the right answer at the end. That's the most important thing. So when we were talking about prorations, right, we said that every month has 30 days. So if we have 3 remaining months, we could figure out the number of days in the 3 months and then add that to the number of days remaining in September. Right?
90 plus 27.
So 90 plus 27, right? 90.
And you said 30 minus 3 out because it's September 3rd. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. So this would be 127, right? 127 days. Okay. So total tax is 960 for the whole year. So let's go ahead and divide this by 360. Oops. So 960 divided by 360. And let me know what you get.
Okay, so I just got completely lost for a moment.
Okay. Where are you
Okay.
lost?
I was the 127 days. Okay. So after I do the 127 days, what am I supposed to do next?
Okay.
Divide that by 960. No.
No. So 960 is the total for the whole year.
Okay.
So then we need to figure out how much it is per day.
Oh, okay.
Right. So that's where the 360 came from, right? Because that's how many days are in the year. Right? So 960 divided by 360. And you should get a very small number.
I gotta there's no half days, right?
No, you can do it in fraction because this is dollars, right? Because remember, this is $960. So I got 2.6667. Right? And then you multiply that by your days.
So I have a question outside of this though. It's
Okay.
just okay. So I've been hearing a lot that on a test is not that many math questions. I was wondering, is it a different test for each individual, or is it all the same test? Okay, it's a different test.
Yeah, it's a different test for each individual. I had someone tell me recently she couldn't remember, but she got a bunch. I had someone tell me she only got 4. I had, so it's kind of fluctuating. I'm not sure I don't know how they distribute math questions, but yeah, you can get a total of 13, I want to say total, but everyone's exam is different.
Yeah, he had more than 10. Oh man.
Yeah. Okay. So again, for this one, and what I like to do with math questions is first thing is that all that you need to solve that problem is in the question, right? All you need to solve is in the question. So you may have to read it maybe 1 or 2 times again, just to kind of understand what they're asking you to find. This one, it's like, okay, we have this whole $960 for the whole year, but we're trying to figure out a fraction of that for 127 days of the whole year. So we need to figure out how much the tax is per day, and then that will help us figure out how much it is for the 127 days. Okay. So I did it different on the screen. I did it differently from how I did it when I solved it. And my math may be off on the screen because the numbers are different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my math on the screen might be off. So let me do that math again. 960 divided by 3. Sorry, divided by 12 times 3. That. And then 27 multiplied by 2.67. Oh, this should be 472. No, 27 times 2.67 plus 240. Oh, we made a mistake here. This should be 117. 90 plus 27 is 117, not 127. And if you multiply that by 2.67, yeah, we get a number that's closer to this. Okay, so multiply this by 117, and that should give you 312.3739.
Got it.
Yeah. So I did the math earlier in my head. And honestly, on the exam, I don't use my head. I always use a calculator on the exam. I may use my head, but then I'll always verify with a calculator because, we can make mistakes. All right. And so because this is a prepaid item, we're taking the money from the buyer and giving it to the seller. So, Jania, how do you think it will show on the closing statement? Which side would it be on?
And when it comes to that, I get a little confused.
Okay.
So how much is the buyer responsible for?
Mm-hmm.
It would go for the, I'm not sure.
So if the buyer is responsible for it,
It's credit to the buyer?
Say that again?
Is it credit to the buyer?
No, it's the other one. So think about it. If you're getting a credit on your statement, you're getting money back.
Right.
Right? But if you're paying for something, then it's a debit.
Right.
Right? So in this case, it will be a debit to the
seller. Okay.
Sorry, to the buyer. It will be a debit to the buyer because the buyer is responsible for the money.
Okay.
Right. And then the seller will be getting the money. So it'll be a credit.
Is it a way that I could dictate, to not get confused from it? Because that was another thing in class I was confused about.
Right. So think about who's getting money and who's getting billed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the person that's getting money is getting a credit. Right. So if you prepaid, and let me go back to the slide.
So see how the question says the seller has paid.
That's
So then you know it's credit because they already paid it. So now they're going to get the credit back for it. So think about it being that way. That's what kind of helped me. If you the answer is kind of always in the question.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's a very good point. Yeah. And then it tells you here to the buyer is responsible for. So the buyer needs to pay something.
Right. So it's credit to the seller and debit.
Yes. Great job.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I feel like we should just run through some vocabulary real quick.
I have Jeopardy and it's all vocabulary. Well, not all of it, but
if Patrick is down, I mean, I'll be down for it too. I don't want to just
okay.
All
right. Let me pull that up.
Patrick, is that okay with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yep. Let's pull that up because I actually went over it yesterday and I made it a while ago. Oh,
Yeah,
did
we
you guys?
to play it last session.
Yeah. Did you guys cover amortization tables in class?
Yes, we went through. Well, my class we went through it.
Okay, good. Okay.
Briefly. And that was another thing I was confused on as well.
All right. So,
my strategy always was like, let me get this vocabulary down first, and then I'll move on to strictly math. Because I know that I don't do as well with math as I do with like vocabulary.
Yeah.
It's just for the vocabulary, just remember it's all repetition. So I went back to old school and I made index cards. And I would carry the index cards with me everywhere I went. So I had 5 minutes, I'd go through 20. And then I would go through it, and then I just mastered it, and then I moved on to the next, and then go back to it. And always have those cards with you, so you always got them.
Okay.
Right. And that's the thing too, like taking advantage of like every second that you have, because we're all busy, right?
It is. Yep.
Yeah, we're all busy. If it's even like being in the shower and listening to something.
No, that's exactly what that's exactly.
Right. So like however you could, just that repetition, like he was saying, as however you can get it, just get it that way. And it will stick in your head. All right. So you guys see my screen for Jeopardy?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So for the math. Okay. So I have math, I have vocabulary, licensure requirements, licensing law, and then also agency relationship. So pick a number.
Who going first?
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
I'll go first.
We did the test, so we're here to help you.
Okay. Let me get agency relationship 300.
All right.
Oh. Oh, this is easy.
Okay.
Come on, that's an easy one.
And the answer is dual agency.
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding.
All right. So you're gonna get 300 points for that. I mean, you're gonna actually I should have just done one team because we're all in this together. All right, next one.
Let's do vocabulary 500.
Oh, all right.
You're going big.
Going for the big money. This is a loss in property value due to a change in taste, preferences, or market standards.
Oh, I think I know this, but I'm confused.
Well, I'm going to say, is it economic obsolescence? Do you think that has something to do with that?
It's the other one.
No, it's functional.
Yes, you're right.
Yes, great job.
All right. Next question.
Let's do license law 400.
Okay. It's the agreement between the sponsoring broker and the client that must be in writing.
Oh, this is on the tip of my tongue. It's the agreement between the sponsoring broker and the client that must be in writing. Is it the brokerage agreement?
Girl, you are on it. Okay.
Let me get it right. Exclusive,
right. and why it's exclusive is because it must be in writing.
In writing.
Right. So the other ones don't have to be in writing, but exclusive must be in writing.
Okay.
All right. See? Okay, next one.
Let's do an easy math one.
Right, let's do a math one.
100?
Yeah, let's do 100.
Right. The formula for the state's transfer tax stamps.
And I learned this from you.
This was on my exam.
I learned this from you.
Okay, go ahead.
It's Patrick chose this, so I mean, or you want me to?
No, you can go for it.
You know the answer.
Okay, it's the formula. So do I say the formula for?
Yeah.
Okay, so the formula would be, should I say state and county? I'm gonna just do state and county.
Just state, yeah, it's just state.
Okay. State is for Illinois is 50 cents per Isn't it 50 cents per 500?
Yep.
And then the county is 25 per 500.
So 50 cents per 500 or fraction thereof or portion thereof, right? So for this one, if you have a fraction, you always round up.
Because you can't get half a stamp.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
And Miss Williams, this was on my test.
For real? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually watched this is one of the first things I ever learned before taking my class was from Nanye. So yeah, I was watching a YouTube video. I'm like, let me get this. Let me write it down.
I was lucky enough to be in her class for 5 weeks.
I know.
So. Yeah, your class was a hard class because it was every Saturday for 5 weeks, and we did a lot in one day. It was a lot.
Those accelerated classes are, it's like I told you, it's a lot to retain.
All right, good job. Next one.
Let's do vocabulary 300.
Okay. It is a possessory interest of uncertain duration.
Okay. It's a possessory interest of uncertain duration.
Right.
Periodic tendency? I'm not sure.
You might actually be.
No, what is a freehold? What?
Yeah, the way it's phrased, but you were in the right
area. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
you were in the right area. So the one you talked about was a leasehold, and then this is freehold. So freehold, like possessory, is more like you're renting. Sorry, that you're owning it.
Okay.
Right.
Possession. Okay.
Right. So this would be freehold. And again, the exam is multiple choice. So you'll be able to like get clues and pick the right one.
2 really right answers and 2 really, really wrong answers.
Wrong answers, yep.
All right.
I'm going to do one more question with you guys and then I got to skedaddle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Which one?
Should we do another vocab?
400?
Yeah.
Okay. Is channeling prospective buyers or tenants to particular neighborhoods based on their race, religion, national origin, or ancestry.
Miss Williams, that's an easy one. You got that.
It's steering.
Yes.
Woo! Let me see if I. Yeah.
Yep. Right, let's clear the vocabulary board before I go.
Okay.
All right.
Putting the pressure on me.
200. It's a document used to transfer ownership of personal property.
Come on, I always get confused with this. Okay, because I know a deed is the transfer of ownership of real property. And come on, it's on the tip of my. I don't like.
Okay, let me ask you a question this way. If I sold you my condo, but I left my Peloton bike and I was selling that to you in addition.
A bill of sale.
Wow.
There we go. Told you you're gonna clear this board, girl. You got it.
Yeah, it was on the tip of my tongue. I just gotta.
Yep. Okay, let's see. All right, last one. What happens to real estate when the owner dies without a will and no heirs?
It is what is intestate.
No, what happens to real estate?
Oh, what happened to real estate when the owner dies with or
no will, no heirs.
No heirs. It's like
where does it go? Goes somewhere, right?
Doesn't it goes to the government, but I forgot what it's called.
You got it. Come on.
You're close. Very close. So government, are you saying federal government, state government, county, town?
The county government, the county.
Yeah. It cheats to the county where the property is.
Okay.
Right.
Miss Williams, if you need any help, Nani will give you my contact information. I'm sorry I can't stay on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. You were so helpful.
Of course, you got this.
Thank you so much as well.
You got this. Yeah. Nani, be in touch. Shoot me an email.
Okay, for sure.
Okay, bye guys.
All right. Bye. Okay.
Bye, Miss Williams.
See you. You be safe.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right, so we can stay
I
on
get a
for,
101 tutor. Like, that's crazy. This is a blessing.
so we can stay on for as long as you want. And I can go over the amortization stuff
Okay.
later on as well.
Okay.
All right, so let's see if we can clear this board.
Okay, let's see.
All right, where do you want to go?
Let's do a license requirement 100.
Okay. This is the age required to obtain a broker license in Illinois.
The age would be 18.
Yep. All right.
Let's do license requirement 400.
400. It's the date when a broker's license expires according to the Real Estate License Act.
It'll be April 30th every even year. Yes. I learned that from you.
But see, that's the thing though. Like sometimes you gotta test yourself to actually like see how you're doing. Because sometimes you're like, crap, I'm not retaining anything. But the more you do all these tests and things, and you're like, I actually know some of the stuff, right? All right, let's do 500.
Okay. Every license
is required to carry this on him or her when engaged in real estate activities.
Every licensee is required to carry this on him and her when engaged in real estate activities. A license?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. This was kind of tricky though, because it'll get you thinking like, but when it's really that.
Right. Right. So remember that by law, we're required to carry our license either in paper form or electronic form. However, by law we are.
I heard like back in the day, my teacher told me like they used to hang them on the wall in their brokerage.
Yeah. Yeah, we still do actually. My old brokerage does that. My new one is more virtual, so I don't know where they keep them, but yeah, they have to have them. So if IDFBR comes in, they're like, where are the licenses of all the people here? They have to show it to them.
Okay.
And then even me, like for example, if I'm on a showing and the police stop in, let's say the neighbors call and they're like, somebody's breaking into this house or whatever, and the cops show up and they're like, who are you? I'm like, well, I'm a licensed agent. Like, where's your license? Like literally, if I don't show it to them, they could actually give me a ticket.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's never happened. So what I started doing was I put mine in the case of my phone.
Oh, okay.
So, because what I did was I printed out my actual license, right? And there's always a pocket one. So they give it to you on a page, right? The top half is the big one, and then there's like a little pocket one.
So for you to keep.
Right.
Okay.
So what I do is I cut that one out and then I use packaging tape to kind of laminate it.
Okay.
So that way it doesn't, stain and tear and all that stuff. And then I just put it in my phone. I used to keep it in my wallet, but I think I was going somewhere and I put it in my phone and I'm like, well, it makes sense.
Right, because you always keep your phone.
Right.
Okay. Let's finish up license requirement.
All right. It's the number of hours required to obtain the managing broker license.
And this is always tricky because 120?
That's the broker license.
Okay, so 140.
145. Yes. Oh, 65.
Oh, 165? Okay.
Oh, yeah, because it's 120 plus 45.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so 120 is 75 pre-licensing, then 45 post-license, that gives you 120, and then the 45 managing broker, so that gives you 165.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if even if you need to like add it up in the exam and get the right one, do that. All right, it's the number of hours required to obtain.
Well, I just 120.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. All right.
Okay, let's do some math. I'm scared. I'm trying to go away from that, but I need.
This is simple. Size of an acre in square feet.
640.
No.
It's 43560.
There you go.
That's how I remember it.
Right. Because I remember you guys told me it's 4
old lady
old ladies
something.
going 35 and a 60.
Yes.
Yeah, that was, you guys taught me that the last time.
Okay.
I always used to do the 7-Eleven, but then with the 7-Eleven, you got to remember that zero at the end. So this one actually makes more sense. All right, let's do 300. How do you calculate the capitalization rate?
See, this is like I'm not sure. Would you man explain it?
Yeah, I actually have it in my slides.
Okay.
So I can talk on that. So the capitalization rate is the net operating income divided by the value. This one is from the appraisal chapter. Income approach. Okay, so the income approach, you're either using the cap rate to figure out the value based on the return, or you're using the return and value to find the cap rate, or you're using the return and the cap rate to find the value. So I'll show you on the slides when you go there.
Okay.
It's the loan amount a borrower, this is actually a calculation. It's the loan amount a borrower will receive when purchasing a house at $215,000 with a loan to value ratio of 85%.
It's the loan amount borrower will receive when purchasing a house at look like this is my downfall when it comes to this.
Okay, so let's talk about it. If you have the loan to value, right? So loan to value is the loan amounts to the value of the property, right? And they already told us the loan that they're getting is 85%. So loan to, right? So the loan amount is 85% of the value of the property. Okay, and then we know the value of the property to be 215. So we'll just do 85% of 215, and that's the loan.
So we'll divide that, correct?
No, multiply.
Multiply, okay.
Yeah. So 85% multiplied by 215, and that's the loan amount.
Okay.
182,750. Now, if they should ask you, what's the down payment? So how much is the buyer bringing?
Then you would divide. No.
No, from this one, you would just subtract 182,750 from 215.
15. Okay.
Yeah. Or so essentially, think about 215 as 100%. Right? So if we're getting a loan for 85% of the 215, then we're bringing 15%.
Okay.
Which is the difference between 100 minus 85.
Okay.
Right? So you could either do 15% times 215, or since we already know what the loan amount is, we could just subtract those two numbers. All right.
Okay.
All right, and the last one. I did it yet. Oh, okay. Okay.
What is the annual tax for a property valued at $125,000 with an assessment rate of 35% and 4% tax rate? We're multiplying, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so this is another thing. Am I adding the 35% and the 4% together, or I'm separating it?
Separate them.
Okay.
So
let me get my calculator.
Right.
Okay, so 125,000 times 35%. I don't think I'm getting the right number. I got 40. Let me see. I'll be right though.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I got 43,750. Okay. And then a 4% tax rate. I'm multiplying that by 4. Okay. 4%. And I got 1,750.
Yep.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the thing for like when they tell you to calculate the annual tax, it's pretty much multiply, multiply, multiply.
Okay.
Like pretty much that's all it is. If you get this type of question on the state portion, they might include an equalization factor. Okay. If they do, just multiply.
Okay.
All right. It might be like 1 point something or 2 point something. It's just for Cook County, so only Illinois. So it's something that Cook County alone does.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. License law.
Okay. It's the department, the IDFPR.
If you fail this one, then I would not give you a license. All right. Nice. All right. 200 is the person appointed by the sponsoring broker. Oh, sorry, to manage the brokerage office.
The managing broker. Yeah, the designated manager broker. I appointed that person to manage the brokerage office.
Okay. Right. Don't forget the D because it's new. It's new as of 2019, so they may like stress it.
Okay.
Just to enforce it.
Okay.
All right, 300. This is when you advertise without your sponsoring broker's name in your advertising.
Who? I don't remember what it's called though.
Okay. A blind ad.
A blind ad. Okay.
All right.
And it's like you can't make your name bigger than the brokerage's name.
Yes. And logo and all of that. Yep. Yep. That's also fairly new as of 2019. So they may ask about that too.
Okay.
Yeah. So blind ads are illegal. We must always advertise with our sponsoring broker's name in all our advertising. Yeah. It's funny because sometimes I'm talking, I'm doing a personal call and I want to like say the whole spiel. My name is this and I'm with this company because you're so used to saying it all the time. All right. License Law 500. It's the fund maintained by IDFPR for which persons who lost money due to actions of a licensee or their employees is compensated.
I know how much the money is and what it goes up to, but I don't remember the name. The antitrust fund?
No.
Okay.
So when someone loses something and they want to get it back, what's that word? Or when you're sick and you're trying to get better. It's an R.
Recovery. Wow. Okay, now you could test me on this. Okay, so it goes up to, they'll never give you more than 25,000.
Actually, they took that out from the law.
They taught us that in school.
Yeah, for some reason, a lot of people are still teaching that. But if you look in the License Act, it says that the department will determine how much to pay out by rule. And so it's article, hold on, I'll tell you what article it's in. So you can actually go read, because I teach this stuff, right? So I kept going back to read it because I'm like, I need to give people the most accurate information. So it is recovery fund. If you go into the License Act, if you just even, it doesn't even tell you here. Recovery, I was thinking it was in the book, but it's probably under Section 5. It's probably under Section 5, somewhere in there. Right, because I did look it up. Section 25, actually. Section 25, yeah, of the law. Because they took out the actual numbers from there. It used to be 25,000 per offense and then maximum of So if you did like multiple things, then they could pay out multiple, but then the max was like 100,000. They could give one person total, but now it just says by rule, they will determine how much to pay out. And they will also cover some attorney fees as well, reasonable attorney fees they will cover. And then for the agent, once they pay out something because of what you did, your license automatically is revoked, like gone, until you pay it back with interest. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is like a no-go area.
Okay, so I got a question. So if that is on a test and they give you, I know it's multiple choice. What would you say, because you said technically it's not 25,000 anymore. They'll rule it. So if they give us the option of all the numbers and it's only 25,000 on there.
If it's only 25, then just pick it, because the test may be behind, because sometimes they are behind. But they updated the exam in October of last year. So I think they're caught up now, but I haven't tested since then, so I'm not sure. All right, so do you want to do 100 or 500? Easy to hard or hard to easy?
We're going to do easy to hard.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the person who hired the broker.
The client?
Yeah.
Okay.
A sponsored licensee must disclose this to her clients.
Oh, I know it's an agency disclosure or disclosure of agency, oral. The licensee must disclose this to her client.
Yes, so it's already your client. Like you guys are clients already.
Okay. A sponsored license must disclose this to her client. Is it the fiduciary duty? No.
Compensation.
Compensation.
A source of compensation. All right.
Okay.
So always, either I'm getting paid from the seller, or you're paying me, or I'm getting paid from both, like whatever it is. And then also remember, if, for example, let's say you're my buyer, right? And I have an inspection company. Okay. I own an inspection company. I don't do the work, but I own it. All right. So now you're my buyer. We are under contract. And then I tell you, hey, you can use my inspection company, but I have to tell you, if you use it, I'm also going to get paid indirectly. So I must disclose that to you as my client as well.
Okay.
All right. The other things we must disclose is like if we have any interest. So that one, I have an interest in the business. And then also if you have any interest in the property.
Okay.
As well. So we always must disclose, hey, the owner is a licensed agent, just FYI. Okay. All right, next one. In Illinois, an agent is required to disclose this to prospective buyer, to every prospective buyer.
In Illinois, this agent is the agent is required to disclose this to every prospective buyer. Does it have something to do with the house? Okay.
Do you remember what these are called?
I know. It's like, I know it has something to do with checking the house, the material facts. Okay.
Yeah. So any issues with the condition of the property, right?
But I don't have to disclose if somebody died there.
Right.
Okay.
So nothing that has to do with the physical condition of the property. So I'm sorry, we disclose everything that has to do with the physical condition of the property. So if the neighbors throw parties every day, right?
You don't have to.
Right. As a seller's agent, you don't have to tell any prospective buyer that, right?
If they ask agent, I don't have to tell, but is it against the law if I tell?
No.
Okay.
No, as a buyer's agent, it's actually your obligation to tell, because that's part of care, right? And also, You could also say is loyalty disclosure, right? You're telling them whatever they need to know that you know as well.
Okay.
So yeah, you could tell it if you're the buyer's agent, but if you're the seller's agent, you're just saying that as a sales agent, you're not required to essentially be like Google for the property, right? And know everything that doesn't even have to do with the physical condition of the property.
Okay.
Yeah. And in there too, we also have like if there are sex offenders in the area, right? We direct them to the source.
Yeah.
Where they can find that information.
They'll have to figure that out themselves.
Right. Even schools and things like that, you know, you could give your opinion, but always, you know, let them know that. Actually, don't give your opinion is the exam. Don't give your opinion. Just state the facts. For example, if you know that at, you know, the school is rated 9 out of 10, you could say the school is rated 9 out of 10. And they could take it for whatever that's worth, right? And if they have more questions, they can go talk to someone at the school.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Final ones. The relationship a listing agent has with the buyer when there isn't dual agency.
Is the relationship a listing agent has with the buyer when there isn't dual agency. A listing is the relationship a listing agent has with the buyer when there isn't dual agency.
So the other way you can think of it is the buyer is the listing agent's what?
The buyer is the listing agent.
It's not a client, right?
A customer.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah. Okay.
Good job.
This was fun.
Yeah. I actually put this all together. Yeah, I played it one time with in my office. We were doing an office meeting, and our manager used it to quiz us on some ethics stuff, and I thought it was very good. So, all right, awesome. Let me show you. What were the other things? Amortization table, right?
Yes. And then I think I had a question. Hold on, let me it was pull it up. I think it was something with contracts.
Okay.
That's what I think it was. I'll figure it out in a second.
Okay. So let me start sharing this and all right, so I just did a video on this table not too long ago, and essentially monthly payments required to repay $1,000 loan, right? So it's a $1,000 loan. So then when you're buying a house, right, you're not getting a $1,000 loan, you're getting like a $200,000 loan. So essentially all you're going to do is multiply it by the 200, right? So it's 200,000. So 200,000. So you would multiply this by 200. So if your interest rate is 6% and you're paying it off in 10 years, this is how much you'll be paying every month if you were paying a $1,000 loan.
Yes.
Okay. So what if I gave you 6.5%? Okay. 25 years. Hold on, let me clear some of the stuff on the screen. So 6.5, 25 years. And the amount was 150. All right, 25 years. And then it's for $150,000. How much would they be paying every month?
Okay, let me see. It was 150, 25 years. Yeah, that'll be 675. Is it 675?
Right? Yeah, for that's for 1,000, right?
Oh, okay. Oh, for one. Okay.
So one for 150,000, what would it now be?
Okay. I'm lost.
Okay. So this is 675, right, for 1,000.
Yes.
If you think about it, this is 150 of 1,000. So if we had 1,150 times, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like if you think about like a bundle of cash, right? 1,000, 1,000, and have 150 of those. So if for each 1,000 I'm paying $6.75, then for all of them I'll be paying 675 multiplied by 150.
Mm.
Okay. So all you got to do is find the number on the table,
Mm-hmm.
divide this by 1,000, and then just multiply the number from the table by the three numbers that you get.
Okay. Yeah, when I was in class, this was kind of tricky as well. Like I know the chart, like I'd get it one time and not get it again. And then I'll get it another time and then not get it again.
Right. So I think it's just remembering that the chart is for $1,000. And then
Okay.
all of these are like, this is 150,000s, right? So you're multiplying whatever you get from that table by,
The first numbers.
right.
Okay.
So essentially you're dividing this 150 by 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever you get, you multiply that by what you get from the table. All right, so let's try one other one.
Okay.
So let's go back. This will be 7% for 20 years. And the amount is 167,000. All right.
167, 10, 7, 7.
What'd you get?
I know it's the wrong answer. I got
You may be right.
it was a decimal, so I know it's the wrong answer.
You go walk me through what you did. So what did you do?
Okay, so I'm still confused about it, so I'm not sure. So I took the 167 times that by 775.
Right.
I was right.
Yeah.
I got 1,1200. Yeah, I got 1,294
and 25 cents, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was right.
Yeah, you got to trust yourself.
Hey, I gotta trust myself.
You got to trust yourself because sometimes that's why people don't pass because they're just second guessing themselves, and
Okay.
it's not helping you.
Yes, I just feel like, dang, like I don't know.
Right. And also that's like one thing that I learned when I because prior to real estate, I worked as a registered nurse, and so I had to take the exam for that.
Wait. So you worked as a registered nurse. Why did you choose real estate? You was just
That's a story for another day.
what?
but I bring that up because I had to take the NCLEX exam, and that was one of the things I learned from taking that exam. Like, don't second guess yourself. After you answer the question, pick it and move on. Don't even like when your brain is like, "Are you sure?" You're done. Like it's almost like you hit the reset button for each question, and just like, okay, that's done. On to the next one, and then just give the next one your full attention.
Okay.
Because if you're like thinking here, thinking there, like it's really gonna mess you up, and then you start getting anxious and all of
I
that.
learned that because it's like every time I second guess myself, it be wrong.
Right. Right. Yeah. So as you're practicing that, you're noticing that about yourself. You're like, okay, I do this all the time. I need to stop doing it.
Exactly.
And then just move on from there. Yeah. Okay. So here's another way they may ask you the question.
Okay.
So a borrower is to receive a $195,000 loan to purchase a property. The lender offered them either 6.5% for 15 years or 7.25% for 30 years. What's the difference in the monthly payments if they choose to do the 15-year plan? Okay. So essentially what you're trying to do is figure out the difference between both payments.
Okay.
All right.
When you get both payments, you're going to divide them by each other.
Subtract. Remember, difference is subtraction.
Okay.
Yeah. So 6.5, 15 years, and 7.25, 30 years, right? So then we go back to the table. So on the table,
6.5 for 15 years.
right?
871.
Right. Okay. And then 7.25
is not
30 years. 30 here, right?
Oh, 30. Oh.
Yeah, 30.
82. Okay.
6.82. Now you could do this one of two ways. You could subtract these two numbers from each other. Right. So this and this. So 8.71 minus 6.82.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. 680.
Okay.
8.71 minus 6.82. Was it 6.82? I think it was.
Yeah, 6.82. Yep.
I got 189.
And then multiply that by
1.
Right.
195? Times 195. I got.
So what did you get the last one?
Hold on.
Okay.
I got 3,068 and 5,500.
You multiply by 195 or 195,000.
That's why. 000.
Okay. Okay, so remember, you always drop those 3 zeros at the end.
Okay, I always drop them 3 zeros. I always drop the 3 zeros. Okay.
Okay, because hopefully on the exam, they don't have those two as the options, because then you pick the wrong one. Because they like to do that a lot on the exam.
Okay.
All right. So
I had another question on, it was I was really struggling on this. The thing with the acres and the slots and the township.
Let's see. I actually took it out of this one.
Yeah, I was confused when we was in class with that. I'm like, I get it sometimes. I know each section is this, that, in the northwest, like the it was just like what?
Hold on, let me pull up another PowerPoint. Yep, that one can be confusing if 1 second, let me pull up a different PowerPoint here.
Like it's like you gotta learn the acres, you gotta know the square foot to even just begin. It was like the northwest corner in this section. I was just like, what? Man. And that's what really made me doubt myself and like so hesitant when it comes to taking this test. It's like I can't get the math down.
Yeah, I actually had someone tell me she didn't get a lot of it on the exam.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, but it would be me to just get all of it.
Yeah. All right, let me pull up this one and share my screen. Okay, so with this, right, you have the rectangular survey system, and you remember that, do you remember the 3 principal meridians that we use to describe land in Illinois?
It's the baseline.
Right, and then the principal meridians that go north to south, right?
Yes.
So there are 3 that we use to describe land in Illinois.
Wait, can you name 1?
2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so we use, if you look on the screen here, we use 2 is in Indiana. All right, so it's right here. 3, and then this part right here is Kankakee. So anything south and east of Kankakee is described using the 2nd principal meridian. The 3rd one runs through Illinois, and then the 4th one also runs through Illinois right here as well. So the areas that are shaded this way are described using the 4th. The white portion here on the screen described using the 3rd, which is kind of where, we kind of fall into. And then the 2nd would be Indiana. So remember 2, 3, and 4. And the fact that 2 is located in Indiana, but it's also used to describe land in Illinois. So then if you look at the map of Illinois, right, because essentially what they're trying to do is divide the land into smaller portions. So if we're talking about a small piece of land and you're looking at the map, it's almost like, okay, it's a huge map. I want to narrow it down. So that's where you have like the ranges and the township lines. So what they're trying to do is just break this up into smaller chunks. Okay, so this is a principal meridian and this is a baseline. And then you have your township lines, which are 6 miles from the baseline. And then your range lines that are 6 miles from the principal meridian.
Okay.
Then when those meet, they form a township.
Okay. And then,
so if you're, right, go ahead.
And then the township is 36 square miles each.
Right, because remember, this is 6 miles, like the distance from here to here is 6 miles. Distance from the principal meridian to the range is also 6 miles. All right, so that's where we get the 36 from.
Okay.
Okay. Then we further break down the 6 mile by 6 mile township into 1 mile by 1 mile sections. Okay.
Okay.
And that's your section is the 640 acres. Right here on the top. So a section is 640 acres.
Okay.
And now when we're trying to break down the section, that's where we get the southwest, northwest, that's where that kind of comes in.
Okay.
And then also remember the numbering of the township. Oh, sorry, of the sections.
Yeah, go backward. It's go from right to left.
Mm-hmm. And then it just goes like in a snake around. Right.
Yeah, I read like, I think you shared this, like they only did that because like they didn't want to go all the way back to go find the place.
Right. Because back then, right, they're carrying all this heavy equipment. Mm-hmm. This was like in the 1700s. Right. So imagine them with like their horse trying to like go back and forth, right? Because I always used to wonder, and I heard it in a podcast. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Right. Okay. So yeah, remember that. And then sometimes I think they asked me this because I vaguely remember answering that question. Mm-hmm. They ask you what's next to, for example, what's north of section 16, right? Mm-hmm. So if you don't number it correctly, you get the wrong number.
Okay.
Right. So that's why it's very essential to number it correctly. What if they asked you, mm-hmm. All right, so this is north, right? On the top. This is south.
Eat soggy waffles.
West, right. Okay. So actually it spells news too. If they say to you, what is east of 12? What would you think? Like, what would that be?
Okay. See, that's confusing. What is east of 12? Am I going down 13, maybe?
No, east is to the right, correct?
Right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yes. It looks like there's nothing, but there is something. So if you think about it, come back to this right here.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, it'll be. Am I breaking it? We're not doing the sections, right? Not yet.
No, we are. So like, what's east of 12?
Oh, it'll be the northeast corner.
No.
Okay.
No. So if you think about it, every section, right, is touching another section.
Okay.
Right? And then every township is touching another township.
Oh, so it'll be 18.
No, 7.
So I'm going back.
Right, because let's say this one right here, right? Uh-huh. 12 is here.
Yes.
That means 7 will be here for this one. So it will be 7 of the next township to the east.
East. Okay.
Right? And then same thing with below. 33, for example. Mm-hmm. So let's say 33 right here on this one. Mm-hmm. It would then be 4 of this one. Does that make sense?
Somewhat.
Okay. So just think about all of the, I'm trying to point, but you can't see me pointing. All of these here are touching each other.
Okay.
Right? So everything is a duplicate. The numbering and everything is duplicated. Mm-hmm. Right? So this that you see here is here as well. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's everywhere.
Okay.
Right? So if I am going to the next township from 33, I'm going down. Right? If I was going to draw another township down here.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Same thing if I was going to draw another township on this side.
Okay. It's duplicated again.
Right. So then it will be 6 right here.
Uh-huh.
And then 5 will be here, 4, 3, 2, 1, and all that.
Okay.
That makes sense, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's see.
Everything is duplicated. Okay.
Yes. So just think about every township is touching 8 other townships.
Okay.
And then
looking at the thing, I'm like, it's nothing there.
Right. Exactly. You're like, there's nothing there, but it is there. All right. So then if we go to a legal description, right?
Mhm.
So this was actually, I think this was a real one I pulled out of a listing. So if you notice, they use the lot and block system,
Mhm.
and then they use the rectangular survey system as well. So this is kind of how you see it in real life. So with the lot and block is when they were dividing up, like, you know how we have our blocks in Chicago?
Yeah.
Right. So the blocks are within the section. So sometimes you would see like lots 4 and 5 in block 3.
Mhm.
And then this is South Milton subdivision lot 2, except blah, blah, blah. And then we get to this to the rectangular survey portion. So this is the north half of section 11,
Mhm.
township 40 north, range 13, east of the 3rd principal meridian, Cook County, Illinois.
And that would be where the house is.
Right.
Or the land.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So like a surveyor would read this and show you where it is on the map.
Okay.
Right. But someone like me, I would know it's in Cook County though. But that's it.
That's somebody else's job.
Right. And the great thing is for us, these things are just copied over, and usually the attorneys do this in real life for us. So we don't even have to do any of this in real life.
Okay.
So now let's do one math here, calculating the acres. So how many acres are in a piece of land located on the east half of the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter of the northwest quarter?
Well, see, this is like
so you have to take it one at a time. That's the thing with math, just one at a time. Because if you read it as a whole, you just like, this is too much.
Right.
Okay. So first thing, remember we read backwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're starting with section 17. What's the size of a section?
640.
Right. So we start with 640.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're dividing 640 by 4.
By quarters.
Right.
Okay.
So what's that number if you divide by 4?
It'll be 160.
Okay. So southeast. So we're here in this section here. Okay. So now the next thing is the next one.
Divided by 4.
Exactly.
It'll be 40.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then the next one we're dividing again by
4.
Exactly.
Okay. It'll be 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then we doing the next one divided by 4.
Mm-hmm.
2.5. And then we got one more, and we divide that by 0. We'll divide that by half. That'll be 2, or will be 0.
Yeah,
it'll
by
be
2. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Divided by 2, and it'll be 1.25 acres.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. So that's why I said, like, don't look at it as a whole thing. Just like, okay, I see you. And then you just come and take it one at a time. So divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. All right. And then divide by 2.
Okay.
Now, another way they could ask you this question is to find the price of the land. Okay. All right. So here we have the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter and
the southeast quarter.
Do you remember when there's an and? Do you remember what to do?
When there's an and, I think you divide. No, I'm wrong. You multiply. You subtract.
No. So if you think about it, we're talking about 2 separate sections or two different pieces of land. So we're talking about the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter and the southeast quarter. So it will be 2 separate things. So let me draw it out so you can kind of see. So let's start with this one, the southeast quarter. So that's all of here.
Right. That's just by itself.
Exactly.
Okay.
So now we hit the and, we stop. So it's by itself.
Okay.
Then we start all over again. It's the same section, right? So now we want the southwest quarter. of that section. Okay, so that's here, right? Then we want the northeast quarter of that as well. So the northeast of the southwest. So that will be here as well. So this is all the land that we're looking for.
Okay.
All right. So if we're to do the math, so we first of all, we want to figure out what this one is.
By itself.
Right. And then figure out what this one is and then add them together.
Okay.
So remember, we always start with
40.
Right.
Okay. 640 divided by 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's 60.
Right. So that's for this one, right?
Yes.
And then for the other one, this one here.
Okay, now I start over 640.
Mm-hmm.
Could I, and if I know that it's 4, could I divide it by 8? Or would you not suggest to do that?
16. You multiply the two numbers, it's 16, not 8.
Okay, okay.
So if you're not sure, just do it the long way.
Okay.
Right.
Divided by.
But it's 16. If you do 640 divided by 16.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So 160, then divided by 4, it'll be 40.
Right. So we'll add those two. So 160 plus 40, which is 200.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the total number of acres, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the question says it's sold for 18,500 per acre.
Okay, so I'll do 200 times 1850.
Mm-hmm. 18,500, yeah.
18. Yeah, 500. That's it.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna get a large number.
Yeah, 3 mil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3 mil. I got 37 million.
3,700,000. Yeah. Right. And then the last thing says the commission was 7%.
So the commission was 7%. You times you times that, right? Correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Times 7%. I got 259,000.
Yep, that is correct.
The answer is B.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for the test, the computer is actually, the calculator is actually on the computer now.
Yes, they changed that in October of last year. Yep. Before they allowed us to bring our own, now it's part of the exam.
Okay. Is the calculator like one of them like small little calculators that you just pop up on the thing and then it's just like, it's not like no percentage. Is it a percentage on there?
Yeah, they're gonna have all those. They're gonna have everything that you need. Yeah. Okay. But just one of those, like you have to click on the numbers, which can be annoying. So
okay.
Yeah. All right. Now let me see if you remember what we just talked about before.
Okay.
The section marked A is?
The section marked A is section 36? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the school section is always section 16.
Yep. I was going to ask you that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. So let's do that's the next thing I have here. So we'll do this real quick and then we'll wrap it up. All right. So income approach, right? This is where you're using the income from the property to determine the value of the property based on the rate of return. So the rate of return is the capitalization rate. Mm-hmm. Every investor kind of has their own number. How the appraiser does it is they will go and look at other properties that have sold in the area. So those properties that sold, they know the value that is sold for. Mm-hmm. They know the NOI. So with that, they can figure out the rate. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then you have like, okay, in this neighborhood, the general rate everyone gets is about, let's say 7%.
Okay.
So then you now go to the property and say, okay, I want to make sure that I'm getting a 7% return on my money based on the income that I'm getting from that property. And that's how much you would pay. So then if you know your rate is, for example, 7%, okay, and the property is bringing you, let's do, just to make it easy, 42,000 every year. Okay.
So since it's above the VAT.
Right.
Okay.
So for that property, you would then say, okay, 42,000 divided by 7%.
7%. 7%. 600,000.
Exactly. So that's how much you want to pay for it if you want to get a 7% return.
Okay.
Okay.
It is when we was in class, we was doing it like some people will do the little diagram thing, and then some people will do it with the percentage. Like they'll put it over 100, and then put the other one over 100, and just cross multiply the value like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. If whichever one works for your brain.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, because I know that like I usually didn't use this like T bar, but then I saw it and I was like, I mean, it helps, so I kind of do both. So it just depends on whichever one anyone wants to use, really. Okay. Yeah. So let's do one.
Okay.
Oh, the other thing is if you do you have your book with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So this, what you want me to go to?
Let's go to, you have this one, right?
Let me see. I can't see you.
Oh.
I have the
Dearborn one.
I have yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Practice.
Yes.
6th edition.
All right. So let's go to the appraisal chapter real quick, which is towards the end somewhere. Appraisal. Chapter 19, 359.
Okay, chapter 19. 359.
And then page 370.
370. Okay.
So here they give you an example, right? So on the why I bring this up is because here, if you look at the steps, first you start with your income and then you subtract your expenses, and that's what gives you your net operating income. Okay. So in the question, it says the effective gross annual income is $112,000. The expenses are $53,700.
So I'm subtracting that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and that will give you your NOI.
Okay.
Okay. So sometimes they won't give you the NOI, but they'll give you a way to solve for the NOI.
Okay.
Okay. So then it says what capitalization rate was used to obtain a valuation of 542,325.
Okay, let me try. Okay, so one, I'm gonna talk while I'm doing this. So
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna do 112 minus 537, and I got 58,300. What capitalization rate was used to obtain a valuation of? Okay, so this is what I get. I think I'm okay. So the NOI was 58,000, correct?
300.
I got that and put that up there, so that's on top.
Right.
And then the I'm looking for the value. No, I'm looking for the rate. Okay, so and the value was the 542,000.
Right.
Okay, so I'm dividing. Divide by 2, 4, 2, 3, 2, 5.
And then whatever you get, multiply by 100.
Okay. And my answer would be number C.
Yes, exactly.
10%.
10.75 is your capitalization rate.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just knowing, okay, so if they either they give you the NOI and the rate, so you're finding the value, or they give you the rate and the value, find the NOI, or so they usually give you two and then you're finding the third one. Okay. There's so it's also like this. Oops, not this one. It's also like this, right? So the NOI is the part, and then you have the whole and the rate. So always remember the part is on the top, and then the whole is on the bottom, and the rate is also on the bottom. All right.
Yeah, it's just like, oh. Yeah, it was something about the mortgage rate as well, like the financing. Like I was about that. But we'll talk about that. I know you busy and stuff, so.
Yeah, I think I had I had one other.
Right, and I really appreciate you doing this, like helping, like making YouTube videos and helping like us really learn. Like I really appreciate that because you ain't have to do that. Like we're not paying you to like to take out time of your day, so it's just like I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. There was one as you talked about mortgage rates. There was, I'm trying to see if I had one. No, I don't. But anyway, I'll try to do more math type videos. But again, like one thing I'll leave with you is like, I mean, from today, right? You've been doing this stuff. So kind of trust yourself, right? And just keep practicing. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. Right? Try to maybe set out, I don't know how many hours in a day that you have, but whatever you have, work with that.
Okay.
Right? Don't try to be like, oh, I don't have 2 hours. It's okay. 30 minutes. But just the consistency of it is what's going to help.
Okay.
Right. Okay. But don't wait too long though.
Yeah, that's what I feel like I'm really hesitating. Like I've been out of class. I finished my class August 22nd. Like I feel like I should have been just even went ahead and just took it to see what I could work on, even if I don't pass the first time. But the goal is to pass the first time. But even if I didn't, it was I would know what I need to work on.
Right. Because the longer you wait, it just gets harder and harder. It's just this thing, and you're just like, ugh, I don't want to do it. But yeah, fix a date. Just fix a date, like realistically, okay, I want to do it on this date and just book it.
Okay.
It's going to force you to actually like do the work.
Okay.
Because I did the same thing when I was going for my managing broker license. I took the class in August. I didn't test till January because I was just like, I was afraid because the exam is different. And I just kept putting it off. Then eventually I was just like, I'm just going to schedule this thing and take it. And that was what I did. And that's the only time I waited that long. But, it didn't stop me from practicing. So it wasn't like a big deal. And what helped me was I was teaching. So I was still in the material.
Yes.
Right. Okay. But, okay. All right. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful evening. You are welcome. All right. Take care now.
Okay. Have a good one.